This week in the parish of Bourses and market structure, a Calcutta Renaissance, IGX's IPO, ASX Alive, Mobile Bells, and HKEX's Longer Hours. My name is Patrick Elliott. Welcome to the Bourse Business Weekly Digest. It's the Exchange Invest Weekly Podcast, episode 355. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is a brief reduction of highlights amongst the key headlines from the many events of the week in market structure. All those headlines and happenings from the past 7 days can be found in Exchange Invest's daily subscriber newsletter, a unique guide to the Bourse business sent daily to your inbox. More details at exchangeinvest.com. Over in BitCarnage, a case of the tortoise versus the hare, an intriguing tale of survival. Blockchain.com's co-CEO said they survived a decade of crypto crashes by doing the opposite of everyone else. A tortoise and hare approach paid off where skirting the law hurt all of those failed fasts like FTX. In a cri de coeur which may not distribute to a majority, Trump has claimed and proclaimed that he wants to see the crypto bill passed for Lindsey Graham in the honor of the senator. At the same time, Elizabeth Warren wants guardrails to prevent the president from profiting from crypto. I think the actions of one party or another may be described as desperation. If you enjoyed this excerpt, you may be interested to know you can read BitCarnage every day in Exchange Invest. Alternatively, if you want to follow BitCarnage, the daily update on happenings in the world of crypto and digital assets, you can find BitCarnage as a standalone on Substack. Over in the world of mainstream exchanges, a tangible plan for Calcutta Stock Exchange rebirth is levied, while the London Stock Exchange is promoting reforms towards a more dangerous SME market, while the New Zealand Exchange is backing local capital market reforms. All those stories were in Exchange Invest. Of course, sign up at exchangeinvest.com. Thus, after 12 years of being dormant, the Calcutta Stock Exchange plans to come back with new trading infrastructure. At the same time, the Indian Gas Exchange has filed for an IPO as the parent IGX, the Indian Energy Exchange, is looking to pare its stake. A fascinating spin-off which will come in the wake of what looks like being a blockbuster NSE India IPO. Meanwhile, in BitCarnage, just jumping back to that, we reported last week that 95% of the code for Coinbase is now apparently AI, which surely raises the question, why has the tech stack been so unreliable of late?
Thanks for listening to Exchange Invest Weekly. We welcome your feedback. You can contact me directly, patrick@derivativesvision.com, with any comments. Meanwhile, if you enjoyed this show, we would welcome you giving us a thumbs up. Or, if you have time, a positive review will always be welcome, wherever you find this podcast.
ASX is seeking to proclaim Australian IPOs a land of milk and honey as rich as King Island cream, while the market goes, meh. The DTCC, meanwhile, congratulations to them, they completed the first tokenized trades, and Hong Kong exchanges are exploring longer hours as the US continues to prepare for 24/5, while a new South African study wonders if the hegemony of stock ownership may not be quite as it seems in terms of minority-majority ownership. Meanwhile, top investors have been warning that a London Stock Exchange overhaul will damage trust related to AIM reporting standards, themselves not exactly spectacular to start with. And of course, Wall Street's investment banking machine, if you were looking at those results, they're firing on all cylinders. Rude health in banking will make the bears go wild, but the equilibrium is that against a lot of volatility, especially in macro politics, the markets are functioning well and have done for some time. Hong Kong exchanges, meanwhile, is looking to facilitate stamp duty and trading-related fees payments in RMB. Big move ahead of the Chinese yield curve picking up there. Over in Warsaw, the Warsaw Stock Exchange's operator is collaborating with the capital market on reform of debt-focused catalyst market, and the CFTC have been active staying a Calcutta rule change, which, well, Calcutta risks being engulfed in litigation despite its heady private market valuation. At the same time, the action by Michigan cancelling already made trades destroys the fabric of commerce. For once, even the utterly lamentable Chairman Selig is on the right side of the argument. Also, against the run of play amongst the states, North Carolina law has officially made prediction markets legal in the state. No results this week, but one new market. Bulawayo 24 News reporting that Zimbabwe will next month launch the Zimbabwe Small Enterprises Stock Exchange, a new capital market aimed at helping micro, small, and medium enterprises raise funding and accelerate business growth. If you fancy some financial insights with moving pictures, don't forget, check out our live stream Tuesdays, 5 o'clock London, midday New York time. It's the IPO video live show. Catch the back episodes on LinkedIn and YouTube at IPO-VID. And don't forget that Exchange Invest is now a 7-day-a-week trading platform for the publication of the exchange of information, the water cooler of the Bourse business, as we have a Sunday supplement. Saturday and Sundays are free. Sign up at exchangeinvest.com for your macro read, and at the same time, Monday through Friday is, of course, the backbone of the Bourse business we ask you to pay for in order to support all of our other activities, including this podcast. Finance Book of the Week, that ties in with this weekend's weekends, which are all about mega weddings. In this case, our book of the week is There's Nothing Like This, The Strategic Genius of Taylor Swift by Kevin Evers. Over in products, big move before its IPO, NSE, the National Stock Exchange of India, that have been on the stump this week selling their stock around the world. They are launching the Nifty India FPI 150 futures options on August the 12th. Meanwhile, over at Kalshi, the founder there was saying compute is the new oil as he launched a new way to bet on the future price of AI computing power. ADX and Abu Dhabi has listed 6 new single stock futures, and they've also deepened their Bloomberg collaboration to expand global access to Abu Dhabi markets. The DTCC, as I mentioned at the top of the show, they've turned tokenization into reality. US trades have successfully processed using DTC tokenized assets. Over in mainstream technology, amongst other interesting remarks of the course of this week, an SEC email address mix-up is causing confusion and threatening to disrupt its proposal to scrap quarterly reporting requirements. Apparently, a typo S may disrupt the move away from quarterly reporting. Over at the Calcutta Stock Exchange, they're looking to launch a new trading platform following the adoption of the commodity exchange law. And Trump Media, the social media network, is looking to sell Wall Street low latency access to posts on their network. I wonder which user in particular might be of interest to Wall Street traders. In regulation, the Bangladesh Securities Exchange Commission now moving to reach the settlement cycle, scrapping wet signatures at the same time. DACA planning to move from T+2 to T+1. And a worthwhile read if you go over and get the link in Exchange Invest CIDS 2025. The CCP Global International Default Simulation is reported upon by CCP Global. Prediction market Kalshi back there, they've hired a risk chief, Udesh Jha. He comes from the CME Group, and it's the most interesting hire of the day, surely, as Kalshi tries to ensure it is ahead of risk pressure from its 2 million a day matching marketplace. And meanwhile, in Big World, it's hitting summer, so clearly what better time than to consider the frequent deaths of geologists in movies. Science magazine had a marvellous article devoted to the topic. Nobody had ever thought to mention the water cooler until now. Murder monsters, occupational hazards, why movie geologists die so often. Apparently, if you played geologist in a movie between 1919 and 2023, you had a 1/3 chance of not making it to the end of the third reel alive. And on that mysterious and magnificent note, thank you for listening to this EI Weekly Podcast number 355. Join us daily via exchangeinvest.com, or if you have an exchange or marketplace you'd like built, get in touch. My name is Patrick L. Young, and I wish you a great week in life and markets.
This show relates to the business of Bourses. It is not to be construed as investment advice, nor are we making any investment recommendations. Please consult an investment advisor before you make any investments, and for goodness sake, do your due diligence and do not make investments without complying with the regulations in your home state. Exchange Invest cannot be held responsible for any investment decisions made as a result of our program, which is for entertainment purposes only. The material herein is copyright Patrick L. Young at the date of publication, while our music and sound effects are sourced from copyright-free sources. Thanks for listening to Exchange Invest Weekly, the exchange of information.